Guys, what is Chelsea doing? Now, if you want me to talk about fighting, I haven't been keeping up with it, but you know me. I'm just a dyed in the wool born analyst. So you put them down, give me some fighters, give me some fights. I'll take a look at it. Uh, but I've been watching a lot of world football, soccer, football mundial. And the one thing that doesn't make sense to me at all, as an analyst, as a motion expert, as somebody that can analyze, you put one person against another person and they use movement to do something, I can analyze it. Chelsea is the only thing that doesn't make sense to me. Also, Man United. Not that Man United itself doesn't make sense to me. It's why is everybody bagging on the coach? He's taken a far less talented team than Chelsea, and he has them 5, 6. It depends on the week, but he's got them. He's got them significantly higher than Chelsea. Now, yes, Chelsea's doing a horrific job. Fire Pochettino, because he's awful. Unless he's meant to throw it, which, if you can find me the conspiracy on that, I'll listen, because it really looks like he's trying to throw the thing. Here's what I mean. So, Nico Jackson is awful. Horrible. He's got wooden boots. It looks like he's got a pair of wooden clogs on every time he gets the ball. He has to take 3 steps to think. Can't really dribble. Passes it to the goalkeeper. Can't put laces through the ball. The net is huge in soccer. It's huge. It is hundreds, if not thousands of times bigger than the guy defending it. So you really have 2 questions. Short side or far side. Then on top of that, you still have a few more options. You can chip the keeper. You can nutmeg the keeper. You can drive the keeper to one side and then pass the ball. But every time Nico Jackson gets it where it's important, unless he's trying to do a tap in, is that he passes it to the keeper. As if it was his own keeper. So I sit here and I watch this, and every week I'm like, Nico Jackson ain't going to start. He ain't going to play next week. Can't. He's awful. Horrible. He had a hat trick. Yeah. With 10 men and no substitute against the guy defending him, he had a hat trick. Now, if that's not perfect, the point remains that it was an awful hat trick. Congratulations, you got a hat trick. But Raheem Sterling made most of those goals, man. Come on now. Okay. So I'm watching Chelsea. Pochettino has Enzo Fernandez, who Argentina, with the greatest striking core in modern football, Argentina, puts Enzo Fernandez on that left side of the midfield. But Chelsea keeps trying to make him play defense with Caicedo. Caicedo is great at defense. Caicedo is amazing. Caicedo will give you a pass out, give you excellent balls in, will step forward when he needs to, step back when he needs to. Caicedo is amazing. But Enzo Fernandez is terrible at defense. Terrible. He gets his hips flipped, gets burnt wide, doesn't have the recovery speed going back. Like it's not fair. However, what he's really good at is in the middle of the pitch towards the box, making a pass that sets everybody up. And let's not forget, did you see the goal he scored in the last Mundial? Stepping in, cutting over, beating the goalkeeper to the far side. Okay. So instead of dictating offense, instead of installing your defense, dictating offense, let's go. Pochettino keeps trying to match the other team's formation And it does things like get cucaracha burnt to a crisp. I look at cucaracha and I'm like, why is this guy steady Eddie reliable? Why does he get burnt so much? And then two things come to me. The first thing is he steps off the ball a little too much. He steps off his mark a little too much. That's easy coaching. That's easy coaching. But the second thing is how does he get caught out of position so much? And then I realize, because they're playing different formations every week. The last time I saw this was Jorge Sampaoli in Argentina at the Mundial, where Argentina arguably had one of the top 3-4 rosters in the game and got smoked out of that tournament. What does that tell you? That you cannot go in and react in football and fighting. You go into a fight, you dictate. You fight your fight. That's what you do. If your fight's not good enough, then you lose. But you lose with honor. And you do what your teacher taught you. If, God willing, you have a great teacher, you go and you fight your fight and you win. And you always win. But Father Time is undefeated. Men get old. So it's not uncommon in fighting cultures or fighting disciplines that you fight till you lose. And then the day you lose, you die. That's not uncommon. But you win. You win every time. Until you're just too old to execute your game plan. Until you're too old to dictate. Until the foot's not fast enough to get there. Now, the reason why I bring up the fighting analogy is, okay, if I'm a kickboxer and I face a guy who's only a boxer, why would I stop kicking? Inversely, if I'm a boxer and I'm facing a kickboxer, why the fuck would I not cut the distance? You have to take what you're good at and then just cram it into the other person and make them react. If I fight Sambo and I'm going up against a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, I'm not playing guard at all. I'm not getting into guard, and I'm not holding in guard. Give up guard. Move to Senkaku. Stand the fuck up. Just don't play guard with someone who is brilliant at guard. Inversely, if I'm a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy and I'm fighting a guy who's Sambo, I'm immediately trying to go to guard. Okay, so now we have Chelsea, who is got Enzo Fernandez flipped. They have Gallagher, who, based on what the opponent's doing, is either an offensive weapon or not, who is an all-England midfielder. And the English have the greatest midfield probably in the history of fucking world football right now. They're taking midfielders and putting them as strikers. That's how brilliant the midfield is. Midfield. Argentina right now has got the most decorated and talented striking core in the history of world football. Undeniably. Well, minus Lionel Messi, Britain's midfield isn't that far off from how great Argentina's striking core is. So why would Britain, with all those great midfielders, play a 4-2-2-2-2-2-2-2? 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 You could go a 4-4-2, 4-3-2-1, 4-3-3. You do that. But why would you sit? Why would you sit all that talent on the bench to sub them in? There is no second move. You make your move. That's it. You make your move. You get decisive. You push. And if it doesn't work, you live with the consequences. But if you live your life with trying, you attack with what you have. You have a plan A, you have a plan B, maybe a plan C, but you attack with what you have. You go to war when it's time for war, and you put your best foot forward because you want to win the advantage. Now, if you're trying to use trickery or deception, that's a different story. But Pochettino's not using trickery or deception. He's just trying to match the formation. Sampaoli did it. Both are Argentinos. How did he not see Sampaoli fall flat on his face? Who's coaching River Plate? Is it Sampaoli? Huh? Or Sampaoli got a job as a fucking janitor somewhere for the ridiculous mess he made of the Argentine national team? It took Papu Gomez to go there and catalyze the team. Man. Nico Jackson is not a goleador. If he's a goleador, Erling Haaland is not. If he's a goleador, Alexander Isak is not. If he's a goleador, Ollie Watkins is not. If he's a goleador, Lautaro Martinez is not. Even Jude Bellingham, who is most likely listed as a midfielder, who is a goleador, is not. So you're telling me you're waiting for a guy to develop from Senegal. Who is the goleador that came out of the Senegalese system that you're just waiting for him to turn into? Diego Maradona, not Senegalese. Erling Haaland, not Senegalese. Lionel Messi, not Senegalese. Lautaro Martinez, not Senegalese. Paulo Dybala, not Senegalese. Phil Foden, not Senegalese. David Villa, not Senegalese. Luis Suarez, not Senegalese. Edison Cavani, not Senegalese. Diego Forlán, not Senegalese. Ronaldo, not Senegalese. Ronaldo Brasileño, not Senegalese. João Félix, not Senegalese. So, where is this school that he went to that is so remarkable, pumping out goleadores, that we're waiting for him to just develop? He's got wooden boots. He can't kick the ball. He passes it to the keeper. He doesn't. It's not that he's playing forward like Olivier Giroud, who is not Senegalese, and he can go head the thing. He's not Antoine Griezmann, who always tracks back and forth a false nine, if not a false nine. It doesn't matter he's a false nine. He's just trolling the fucking center of the pitch. Not Senegalese. Kylian Mbappe, not Senegalese. Zinedine Zidane, not Senegalese. So, where's the evidence this guy's good? Where's the evidence that Nico Jackson is worth anything? Who's protecting him? Why is there not like clip videos everywhere just destroying him? Where is it and why is it not out? If I was as bad as my job, If I was as if I was as bad as Nicholas Jackson is at football, at analysis, there would be 1,000 clip videos about how I suck. And I don't play in the one of the biggest leagues in the world. I'm just a fucking old guy talking. Talking. Best fights were a long time ago. Just talking. Speaking broken languages that whatever pops into my head, some old guy don't speak any language that complete. just a just a bunch of random puzzle pieces put together. Me, if I was as bad at this, blah, 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 as Nicholas Jackson is at that, it would be relentless. I'd be famous for being awful. But I pick fights at 80 something, 90 something percent. I'm a good analyst. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're fighting, coaching football, baseball, hockey, doesn't matter. Anytime there is fencing, anytime there is this side versus this side, and they have to go from here to there, wherever there is, however it's scored. The bottom line is you practice relentlessly what you're good at. You practice tirelessly what you're bad at. But you play your game. You play your game. This is a life lesson. If you wait to react to your opponent, that is a very difficult obstacle to overcome. Because they ain't waiting for you. They're not waiting for you. And if you win, it's grace of God. It's grace of God. It's fate. If you wait for fate to win, you inevitably lose. Because God does not bless those that can't do as much as he blesses those that do. Now, whatever your faith is, there is one commonality. It's one commonality. He who can organize himself and dictate the fight wins far more than he who doesn't. David, with a sling, slewing Goliath, happened so rarely that it is one of the most memorable stories of all time. It happens so rarely. Rarely. But every day, someone good at something, really good at something, walks over somebody that is not that good at it. So, what have we learned here? First, If I got an offensive weapon like Enzo Fernandez, I'm not going to make him play defense. If I got Thiago Silva, I'm not telling Thiago what to do. I'm asking him, what can we do with these guys? 3. If I've got Gallagher, then I want to pin him in the attack, which means Palmer has got to get out of the midfield. He's a Ballon d'Oro. Balloon de Oro. Ballon d'Or. Cole Palmer, if he's not in that discussion, he will be. It's amazing. He's the goleador. Un solo. Solo. He's the goleador. And a guy from Senegal, send him to a league you play in. The problem is, if you put him in the MLS, he'd just be on the next bus to Senegal. You put him back in La Liga, he'd do pretty good in La Liga. Yeah, they play loose. Not a lot of, but his deal is not being offside, so it's kind of nullified because La Liga, if it's close, it goes to the striker. So, but I guess to my fighting audience, I guess I didn't intend this, but I guess that's the lesson. You relentlessly practice what you're good at. You tirelessly work on your deficiencies. And you never, ever, ever, ever tailor your game to them. No. You only see what they're good at and then nullify it with what you're good at. Islam Makhachev fights the greatest submission artist in the history of the UFC, Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira moves better than anyone else. Islam just waited for the wrap up, flipped his hips, and chucked him to the ground. You know why? Because Islam is better at judo than Oliveira is better at anything else. So that's the lesson. That's the lesson. You don't stop kicking just because the guy's better at boxing. So if you're a kickboxer, let's do this one more time. If you're a kickboxer and the guy is a great boxer, you don't practice boxing. You practice kicking. And you go in there and try to kick him in the head. Nico Jackson is not a goleador. And that's it.